I love Jalen Brunson. Cade Cunningham's the best player in this series. We're going to look back in 2 games.
20 points. Going into the series, he's the best player.
You think he's had a better year than Brunson?
Yeah, I do.
Wow. Come on, bro.
You know I like Brunson. That guy's the best player on the court in this series.
We got to talk about Cade Cunningham as we just did. They're in a situation with as good as Brunson is, with as great as Karl Anthony Towns is, they will not have the best player on the court when they face Detroit Pistons. The best player on the court is going to be Cade Cunningham.
Those Thundercats out of Detroit. I'm looking at that matchup, and they're sharpening their swords, and they are waiting for this matchup. They are excited about this matchup. Cade Cunningham, Malik Beasley, those guys are ready for this matchup. Jalen Brunson coming in or not, that ankle's not going to be ready till the summertime.
Brunson holding. Knicks trying to wait till the end. Brunson puts up a three. Bang! Bang! Jalen Brunson hits the three with 4.3 remaining. And the Pistons call timeout.
Yo, welcome to the show where the energy's flown. It's your boy dropping heat. This is the Ozone. Step into the arena where legends are made. From the courts to the fields, watch the highlights played. Football, hoops, baseball, it's all fair game. If it's sports, we bring the fire, put respect on the name. Stats and debates, we break it all down. From the rookies to the GOATs who wear the crown. No halftime, all ground, we're setting the tone. It's prime time, baby, you're in the Ozone. Yo, it's passion, precision, the plays we dissect. From the underdogs, grinding to the Hall of Fame vets. This is more than a podcast, it's a sports throne. Let's kick it off right, welcome to the Ozone.
You have entered the Ozone with Omar and Dave.
Let's go! We are here. You guys have officially entered the Ozone. It's your boy Omar. And Jalen Brunson proved everybody wrong once more. All y'all haters, all the experts want to talk about Cade Cunningham, the best player on the floor. Cade Cunningham, he's there. And you just want to disregard my man Jalen Brunson, who averages 30 points a game in the playoffs. A man that's done this. A man that's about that action, about that life. And you want to go and say Cade Cunningham the best player on the floor. And what he do? Shut it down and send teams packing to Cancun. Little shimmy. We got a lot to talk about, guys. Jam-packed episode. The Knicks sending Detroit to Cancun. Now, we taking on our rivals. It's a lot. The Yankees kind of pissed me off this week, and I'm going to get into it. Mets, are you struggling against good teams? Are you struggling against good teams? We talking about it all. But you know I can't get into all this action without my co-host, super producer David So, brother. It's a new week. How we feeling? That's it.
Shut him up.
Shut
him up, Brunson. Shut him up. It's been a good it's been a good week. And brother, like Game 5 had me stressed. Game 5 had me stressed because we were supposed to close it out. But Brunson did it.
We were confident about that.
We were super confident, and definitely we ate crow that day. Good week. I just received my Bad Bunny album. I've been preaching about this album, and this is my first vinyl, so definitely a good one. Been a good week.
Are you gonna play it? Are you gonna play it, or is it like?
It's on the works of getting a record player. I just don't want to get any one. I want to get a special one for it. So that's down the line. But it's been a good week, and we have the Knicks to talk about because our captain, you did it and you proved them wrong. Brother, lead us into the next segment.
Let's get into it. This week in Knicks, baby.
This week in Knicks.
All right, y'all, this week in Knicks, playoff edition. We're going to discuss it. We're talking about our boys. We talking about this grueling, tough 6-game series that we have with the Detroit Pistons. And before I go and crap on the Detroit Pistons, because I have all intentions in doing so, shout out to the Detroit Pistons. The Detroit Pistons play tough. every game they made the Knicks work. I'm gonna be honest, bro. I was upset. I was a lot of emotions in this series, but I never felt we were losing this series. I know, as you touched on, Game 5 was tough. We couldn't close it out at the crib, and a lot of people were panicking. Not saying you were, because you weren't panicking, but a lot of Knick Twitter, a lot of Knick fans were panicking, and it's just like we had the talent. We had the talent. You know what I mean? And I know, and we got the closer, Mariano Brunson. We got the closer. You know what I'm saying? And I just remember last year. I think last year prepared me for this year. Because last year I was scared. When we lost game 5 to Philadelphia, and then we had to go to Philly for game 6. That I was scared because at the end of the day, they had Joel Embiid. Although Embiid was a bum knee or whatever, but they had Embiid, they had Maxey, where I felt like, damn, like I felt like we this is gonna probably go 7 now. I never felt that with Detroit. I'm gonna be honest. I just never felt that. I was just I was upset that we lost game 5, but it was just like, okay, we're gonna win in game 6. Like I came in with the confidence in the world. Oh, we're winning game 6. Now that changed a little bit as the game was going on. The Knicks start off hot, take a 14-point lead by the end of the first quarter. Then you get the second quarter of doom. And then you go and you get Detroit, they get on this run. I believe Malik Beasley had like 18 points in that second quarter. I could be wrong, but the guy was raining threes in the second quarter. And you go into the half, the first half finishes with Malik Beasley hitting the three, and I was panicked, but then I was like, you know what? Let me go back to last year. Last year, same thing. We were up by 19 against Philly. Game 6, Buddy Hield went off in the second quarter where I think Philly took a 2-point lead going into the half. So I just kept thinking, brother, like, nah, this is we're gonna bounce back and we're gonna end up winning this game. What had me
Yeah.
worried was what had me I remember before
No,
what
no,
had
I'm
me
not
even
cutting you
more
off. I'm
worried.
disagreeing.
What had me worried was then the Knicks go off in the third quarter. They do layup lines. Let's put it like that because the perfect stat in game 5, after game 5, Mikal Bridges spoke about, because the Knicks have been having these awful third quarters. And that's even stemming back even from this season. But these awful starts to the third quarter. Obviously, that's what propelled Detroit in game 5. So basically, Mikal Bridges in his post-game show after game 5, with the media, kind of just proposed, hey, listen, while he was in Phoenix, they would do layup lines. Normally, brother, you've been to basketball games. If you notice now, that's really not a thing anymore. Like guys are just chucking their shots or whatever, but they're not doing layup lines. So, Mikal suggested that, hey, like this is how we did to kind of get in rhythm, to get guys moving and that sort of thing. So the Knicks go and do that. The Knicks go and get layup lines at the second half, and they have a great third quarter. They have a great third quarter. Defensively, they're moving the ball. Then they go. I believe they went back up the lead by 12 or 13. What got me nervous, brother, was then they blew that lead, and I'm like, what are we doing here? This just like, what are we doing? Detroit is not a team that you think of a high octane offense. So I'm thinking like, man, we got a double digit lead. Like, all right, we're gonna keep this one. That wasn't the case.
Yeah, brother. And the thing that also kind of scared you is just we were outscored in the fourth quarter, 28-20,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of things went our way. And it's not. I'm not even talking about like foul stuff. It's more so like Beasley's got butterfingers. That helps.
Yeah.
You
And he was
put
talking so spicy, bro. Oh my
you
God. He
you
was
put
talking so
the
spicy.
best defender in the league on Jalen Brunson, and he was put into a spin cycle.
Yes, he was.
He was
Yes, he
he was
was.
touching dirt. He was touching floor, and
Speaking of the shot, you heard what Skip Bayless tweeted? Skip Bayless tweeted offensive foul push off on Brunson. Have the guts to call it even on New York's team. First of all, Skip Bayless, nobody watches you no more. And that was not a push off.
no,
He JB literally broke that boy's ankles.
Yeah. So Skip Bayless could talk whatever the hell he wants to talk. You have a lot more pressing issues than thinking about Knicks
Yes,
and
he
push offs.
does. Yes, he does. Yes, he
You could deal
does.
with that, sir. But it was a game that once again shows that the Pistons are coming as far as a team. They're coming into their own. There's a lot to learn. They're a young team, and hopefully down the road there's more playoff matches with us and them because that was a matchup that I'd like to see again. But once again, this is where the veterans of the Knicks came through. OG comes through. Josh Hart comes through. Mikal Bridges comes through. And my captain, came through.
You know what's
Towns,
funny? I didn't put this on the script, and maybe we could talk about it while that we're
go
talking
for it.
about Jalen Brunson. But let me just put these stats real fast. Shout out to Tommy Beer. Um, he had Tommy Beer from Nick Centric. That he showed us some love on our TikTok video. He tweeted fourth quarter stats, brother, between Jalen Brunson and Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham's fourth quarter stats combined for the entire series: 43 points on 37% shooting, 15 assists versus 10 turnovers. He was a -7 in the plus minus. Supposedly, this is the best player in the series, right? According to Charles Barkley, according to many experts. Michael Wilbon. Jalen Brunson's fourth quarter stats: 66 points on 50% shooting, 10 assists versus 1 turnover. He was a plus 19. Brother, Jalen Brunson in the past 2 postseasons has a combined of 76. 76, brother, clutch points. That's more than the Denver Thunder and Clippers roster. Only the Celtics and the Wolves have more as a team. And these are teams compared to our captain. Now, this is what I'm going to tell you right now. Because of Jalen Brunson's heroicness in this postseason, and I don't want to stare off because we're going to still talk about the series, but an interesting conversation has been brought up in New York. And we've had this conversation a couple episodes ago about the top 10 players in New York. With Jalen Brunson's heroics, now the conversation has been who's the king of New York? And it's is it Brunson or is it Aaron Judge? And I feel we can talk about this because both you and I are Nick and Yankee fans. I had Brunson number 1 on my top 10. I believe I did. Yeah, I had Brunson. I believe I did. You had I had Judge 2. You had Judge 1, Brunson 2. What's your thoughts on the King of New York conversation amongst Brunson versus Aaron Judge?
I hear your argument. And when the Knicks are winning, there is nothing like New York when the Knicks are winning. There's just nothing, there's no other feeling like it. The Yankees are world renowned. There is not a place you
Hmm.
can go that knows sports and at least a little bit about baseball that doesn't know about the Yankees. And Judge is the face of that right now. Um,
So does
I
that
still
make you the
stand by that
king of New
statement.
York because it's
I
world
st- I,
renowned?
st- I stand by that statement just because of what he has done with the numbers, MVPs. I still stand with Aaron Judge. But
So Aaron Judge is the king of New York.
I stand with that. But Brunson wins that title, and Judge, there's nothing Judge could do. Judge could win 4 titles in a row.
So I agree with that point. I do say that Brunson's the king of New York, and this is why.
Okay.
Because I get Aaron Judge is our Aaron Judge arguably the best baseball player in the league. Obviously, Brunson's probably not the best basketball player. I would say in the NBA, he's not, but he's damn top 5 in my book. Obviously, like it's different, like you said, because the Knicks, not the expectations, but like we've suffered so much with the Knicks that a little bit of success, it's overblown. And where the Yankees is all titles, is always World Series of bust. So I get that Aaron Judge has the MVPs, but I'll say this: Brunson may not have the MVPs, but who do you feel more comfortable with? You're down 2, closing seconds. Jalen Brunson with the ball, or you got to run it on second base, ninth inning, 2 outs. Aaron Judge at the plate in the playoffs. Who are you
Why do you
more
gotta put
confident that they're good?
why you gotta
But
put me
that's
in
what
such
it
a tough
boils down.
position?
But that's what it
Okay.
boils down to, because you hear
All
the
right.
conversation, you hear the Yankee fan, like you hear people that want Aaron Judge, and they go, Aaron Judge has the MVPs, Aaron Judge has all of this, and I get all that. But I'll tell you this though, there are two MVPs in baseball. Not saying that Aaron Judge wouldn't have had those two MVPs, but there's an American League MVP and there's a National League MVP. In the NBA, there is no Western Conference MVP, Eastern Conference MVP. There is one MVP, because I'm pretty sure if it was like that, like how it is in baseball, Jalen Brunson would have had an MVP last season, because he would have been the Eastern Conference MVP. All I'm saying though is this: I'm more confident. I'm betting the crib. I'm betting my life with Jalen Brunson with the basketball, tied game or down 2, down 3, closing seconds in a game 7, than I am with Aaron Judge at the plate with a run on third, 2 outs, full count, ninth inning. That's all I'm saying.
Fair enough. That is definitely an argument that I will not argue, because at the end of the day, that is somebody I would want on the line. I would want Brunson to be the person that I trust in, with all the stakes at the hand. Um, I will say this: Brunson has helped bring the Knicks out of this purgatory that we have been in, and
A
I'll
hundred
also
percent.
I'll
100%.
credit Randall. I'll credit Randall, but Randall's not the guy that he's not him. He's a great player. He's a
And
great
shout
number
out to
two.
Julius Randle, who's
Great
having
number
a
two,
phenomenal postseason right now.
and
Shout
keep
out to
killing.
Randle. And
Keep
that just shows that the pressure's a little different. You know what I mean? It's not as much pressure in Minnesota as in New York. But go ahead, brother.
and
Go ahead.
keep killing Randall, because I am rooting for you, but you're not Brunson, and we all know that.
No,
Clearly
no.
on the Timberwolves, we know Anthony Edwards is the guy and not Randall. So it's not to knock him down off his pedestal. It's more so to say that Brunson has brought this aura to New York that just makes you happy to be a Knicks fan again. And it's like, that's my guy. You know how some people like, well, I got Kobe, I got LeBron, I got this player that I know down, like he's the face. Brunson's
Yes, he
that
is.
guy. And I do hear your argument, and I'm not going to argue it. You know what? You got that. I may think differently, and I still think that Judge may be the king of New York. But your argument of death beams. What was the one that Max Kellerman used? The Martians have death beams on us, and they want
I
the
want
show.
Iguodala.
Of everyone on Golden State, open shot, fate of the universe on the line, or the Martians have the death beam pointed at Earth, you better hit it. I want Iguodala. That's right. And I know what that sounds like. And it's not fair to Steph, because so much defensive attention is paid to him. And I'm not saying Steph's not a better shooter. He's a way better shooter. Iguodala's got ice water in his veins.
Yes, I want Brunson. I want Brunson. I hear you there.
That's still one of the worst takes ever. But
It's
yeah,
still the best. It's the best take because it's that hilarious. But
yeah. Um, yeah, but that was it. Like I know, like that was just a conversation of like who's the king of New York, and obviously, we are creatures of the moment. You know what I mean? Like so, obviously, my opinion might change in October if Aaron Judge has a phenomenal postseason. You know what I mean? I think it's just like we're so in the moment, as we should be. And this is why I said that, brother, in one of our TikTok videos, that I want to enjoy the weekend. I want to enjoy the weekend. I was so happy that we closed it out. I'm not focused on the Boston Celtics until now. Now I'm focused on the Boston Celtics. Tonight, guys, the Knicks take on the Boston Celtics in the second round. Dave has a schedule right now. So right now, uh, they're scheduled tonight, 7 p.m. on TNT. Unfortunately, we got to watch them on TNT now. And before I get into this, I saw something, brother, that bothered me. I saw something that bothered me. And this is, I don't want to point any friends out, because it's not just friends, it's Knicks fans. If you live in the New York market, you live in the New York area, obviously we don't. So, brother, I know you was watching the games on TNT, on ESPN. You don't live in the market, you don't get MSG. If you lived in the New York market, the tri-state area, and your ass was watching the game on TNT, you're not a Knicks fan. you're not a Knicks fan. If you weren't watching the game on MSG and you were watching it on TNT, you're not a Knicks fan. I don't want to hear that. Let me get back to now. That bothered me. There was so many Knicks fans that I know that lived in New York. They're posting the highlight and they're watching the game on TNT. What are you doing? We got Clyde and Breen. We got the best announced team in all sports. And you watching TNT? And you know what's funny, bro? And this is why I hate that now we're forced to now watch the national media. We have to watch the games now because the local markets can no longer, they only cover the first round. Bro, no team, and they did this on purpose. First of all, TNT got Jalen Rose to cover for Charles Barkley in the pre-show that night, who was at the games already in Detroit rooting for Detroit. From Detroit, rooting for Detroit. Out here calling Jalen Brunson a flopper. Then you have Grant Hill, who is a Piston great, commentating. Ooh, bleep that out, because that's how mad I was. Commentating the game. They did this last year. We played the Pacers. Reggie Miller was comment. It's like, bro, they don't do this to no team but the Knicks. They don't do this to no team but the Knicks. And you want to sit there and say that the national media is not out there on us? You start the stupid narrative that Cade Cunningham is the best player. Cade Cunningham is a great player. Ascending player. Jalen Brunson is here. You know what I'm saying? So now it's just it's upsetting that now we're forced to now have to watch the Knicks on TNT. But let me get back on track. I got a little off the script a little bit there, a little bit. So Monday tonight, guys, 7 p.m. TNT, followed by Wednesday, May 7th, 7 o'clock as well on TNT. Now Saturday, the times are to be determined. Saturday, which is game 3, 4, 5, and 6. Which is weird. They have the start time for Game 7, which is 8 p.m. But obviously, guys, Saturday's time, which is May 10th, it's gonna depend on the Golden State Houston game, bro. So if Golden State were to win, that game is gonna be 3:30 on a Saturday, which is gonna suck. So obviously, as of this recording, we don't know who's winning Golden State, Houston, as their game 7 is Sunday night. As you guys all know, we record Sunday mornings, so we don't know the outcome of that. But let's just put it like this: I'm rooting for Houston because if Houston wins game 3, scheduled for May 10th, will be an 8:30 start. So I'll be in New York. I'll be in New York for that. So I'm gonna be with the people watching game 3. But brother, obviously it's been known we have struggled against the Boston Celtics. We've lost all 4 meetings with them this past season. 3 of them were just hard to watch. The last one showed some hope. What's your thoughts? What's your confidence level, I guess, going into this series with the Celtics?
I don't know about confidence level, right? I'm still taking time
Okay.
to gauge. At the time of this recording, it is still Sunday, so we dropped this episode right before, and I might change how I feel going at 5 o'clock when this episode drops tomorrow, or it may feel differently. But right now, it's more so what I want from the Knicks, and this is what I want: make it
Okay.
competitive, make it competitive.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
we were to lose, I don't want to lose by blowouts. I don't want to see like the Knicks
Right.
don't belong there because then that just fuels the media and we're forced to watch it. I mean, we could shut off the TV, but guess what? The next day, the sports coverage is going to be the same thing. So I want it to be competitive. I want to, like, the same way we were losing to the Pistons by like within 2 to 3 points. The same way I would want to see if we were to lose against Boston. I want to see close games where
Yeah.
you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
They barely got past them. The Boston Celtics, last year's champs barely beat us because the season once again is a wash. The Pistons went what 3-1, 3-1 against us last year, this past season,
Uh. Yeah. Yeah.
and that meant nothing. At the end of the day, they're gone.
Yeah. It meant
Nobody's talking
nothing.
about the Pistons. So I want to see that at least the Knicks are competitive throughout the whole thing. If it had my way, Knicks win in 6. That's what I want to see. I want to see Knicks in 6.
It's funny what you said because this is what I've been telling everyone that I've spoken to about the Knicks and this series with the Celtics. And what I said was I want the Knicks to play the Celtics exactly the way Detroit played us. We were talented. We were much more talented than the Pistons. That's not even up for debate. Talent won us that series, but Detroit played tough every single game. Detroit put themselves in a position that they could have won every single game in that series. I want the Knicks to play the Celtics that way because exactly what I said with the conversation of who's the king of New York, Jalen Brunson or Aaron Judge. Get it to the point where if we're down 2 or we're down whatever, we're down a possession, we know we can give the ball to this man, Jalen Brunson, and he's going to deliver. Just give ourselves an opportunity to be in that situation. And I think we're going to do that. I don't know why I feel so different about this series. I don't know. Maybe it's because I've watched the Celtics play Orlando. Jaylen Brown seems off to me. In that last game he played against us where he didn't play, I believe, like the whole entire fourth quarter, that knee just doesn't look right. He just doesn't look 100% right. Drew Holiday missed, I believe it was the last, 3 games of that series with Orlando. Now, I do know that he did practice, so obviously he's going to play, but it just seems like, he missed the final 3 games. He's not healthy. Now, don't get me wrong. The Celtics are equipped. They have depth where they can still win without those guys. But if we can get that defensive energy that we saw from Mikel and OG on Cade Cunningham, I feel confident that that we're going to give ourselves a shot. Now, to beat the Celtics, though, you can't have games where Cat got 10, 12 points. Everybody's got to play. Everybody's going to have to get their game on, especially Deuce McBride. Deuce, you've been playing like straight ass this postseason.
And
Ass.
I want to credit that to the Pistons, though. I do want to credit that to the
Do
Pistons and
you?
how they play.
Because my man was missing a lot of open shots, though, too.
I do. But I want to credit that to the Pistons as well. But I hope he gets it together in this round, just as you are hoping
We're
for
gonna
it as
need him.
well.
We're gonna need him.
Because they got Peyton
Right.
Pritchard coming off the bench.
He lighting it
6 man
up.
of the year. 6 man of the year. So
He's hit more threes by himself than the whole entire Knicks bench.
So
He's got to produce. I want to see Tibbs expand the rotation in this Detroit series. He literally just played. He played what, campaign a few minutes, but basically it was a 6-man rotation. Really, like Mitch saw the respectable amount of minutes coming off the bench. You didn't really see it much reduced. Dude struggled a lot. Campaign outside of game 1, Campaign didn't play much. We might have to see Landry Shamet. We might have to, I want to see Delon Wright in this series. We got to throw bodies at the Celtics. It's funny because JD Sports Talk from Knick Fan TV said this past week that he wouldn't mind Carl Towns on Drew Holiday, right? And Josh Hart on Porzingis. Because he's like, I would much rather have, the smaller guy on Porzingis. Because this is how teams guard Cat. Where, you know what? He's going to settle for 2s and the 3s. Because he got the smaller guys. Like, okay, then he's going to take them to the hole. He's going to try to put them in the paint. And I'm not against that. Because Porzingis be shooting out there 35 feet, those 3s. And I would much rather have the smaller physical guard like Josh Hart guarding Porzingis, and I could put Towns on Holiday because that's exactly how they're going to defend us. They're going to have Drew Holiday on Karl Towns. They're not going to have Porzingis. They're not going to have Al Horford. Obviously, and you know what I mean? And that also protects you because the Celtics are going to try to get pick and roll action with Towns and Brunson. They're going to try to exploit that. But this is where I said about Mikal Bridges and OG. They fought through screens like crazy in that Pistons series, and I don't expect anything less coming into this series with the Celtics. It's going to be a battle, brother. And I said this, I believe it was last week. This series is going to take years out of our lives. we may have a gray beard by the next week's episode. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, brother. I just feel, and maybe it's a bias, and maybe it's just me and Dana. I just feel so different coming into this series. I don't know, man. I really think we're gonna do the upset, bro. I really believe it in my heart. And they tell you that's not a good thing. You're supposed to go with your brain and not your heart when it comes to. But man, I feel good. I feel Knicks in 7. Knicks in 7. And
The
I think we're
Knicks,
gonna steal a game in Boston. I think we're gonna steal game 1. I think we're gonna steal tonight's game. I don't know why. I just feel like we're gonna steal it tonight.
the Knicks at least are healthier than they were last year when we came into the playoffs.
Yes.
That's another thing
Yes.
to credit Jalen Brunson. If you could take my ankle, it's not the best ankle, but I'm pretty sure it's
Oh,
healthier than
Udonis
yours.
Haslam. Udonis Haslam. That's something that ain't gonna be ready for the summer. Shut your old ass up, Udonis Haslam.
Oh man, brother, I am not hearing you. Unfortunately, we are having technical difficulties. I think something happened here. Um, but I'm gonna. I can't hear you at all. But we'll post the recording in just a sec. I just want to say that Brunson, you're as healthy as you can be considering everything you've dealt with this season. If you can have my ankle, I'd give it to you right now. But it's not the best ankle either. So the fact is, I do feel confident that the Knicks are healthier this year going into the second round than they were last year. The Pacers had no business beating us last year. I don't care what you say about the Pacers. They just beat the bum Bucks because at the end of the day, that's not the Bucks you really want to like. If they were healthy, the Pacers would never have survived that. So right. So at the end of the day, the Pacers got lucky last year, and we were just man after man just kept falling. And at the end of the day, you're only forced to play who's in front of you. You can't just be like, oh, if I had this, whatever. But at least this round, going into the Celtics second round, we're healthier than we were last year at this point. So I'm excited for that. All right, everyone.
Guys,
Technical difficulties over here.
yeah.
Omar, your mic.
It's my fault. It's my fault. I didn't charge my microphone. That's my fault. I got a little excited. I got a little excited. I blew out the microphone, brother.
So we are gonna pick up from where we left off, and I was just saying how once again I'm happy that the Knicks are healthier than they were going into round 2 this year as opposed to last year. Brunson's ankle it is what it is at this point. You got to take that with it at this point because that's as healthy as he's gonna be. You don't get any healthier in the playoffs. Um, and I think you had something to say about Udonis Haslam, Omar. I just want to hear
Well, you know what?
which
Udonis Haslam was one of those that we talking about Jaden Brunson, we talking about health, we talking about all this. And Udonis Haslam, as you guys saw in the video before the show started, he goes, oh, Jalen Brunson's ankles, they're not going to be ready to the summer, blah, blah, blah. And my thing is like, bro, worry about your boys. Worry about your boys. Worry about how the Heat got smacked by 50 Back-to-back games at the crib. You need to be focused on that. You need to focus on how your team is straight ass. Tyler Hero, ass. Bam Adebayo, ass. You ain't worry about them. Oh, I'm picked up Thundercats in Detroit. The Thundercats is in Cancun doing a shimmy. Malik Beasley. Malik Beasley was talking very spicy, brother. Very spicy. Very spicy. And where he at now? Cancun.
I mean,
Cancun.
can I just as where is this notion that he is the best shooter in the league?
Oh, he said he's the best shooter in the world.
Yeah, in the
He
world.
said
My
he's the
bad.
best shooter
I'm
in
sorry.
the world.
I'm sorry. Did Steph Curry
I'm
just
sorry, Steph
disappear?
Curry ain't dead. Bro, he said he's the best shooter in the world.
Brother, you know what? I just because oh man, you know what? Steph Curry's one of those people that if he wants to be petty, he will be. I just want to see like a matchup with them two, just at the 3-point contest. Have them match up.
You know what's the
I just
funny
want to see
part?
this.
You know what's the funny part about Malik Beasley? His ass gonna probably end up on the next year. I was saying that like, yo, I'm talking so spicy about this guy. Because
Well,
that's
he bring
exactly what happened with Campaign. Campaign, I'm like, bro, I hated Campaign last year with Philly. Like, yo, you ass, bro. And you know what I mean? And he ended up on the team. Watch Malik Beasley end up on the Knicks.
if it
But
happens,
he's
that's
definitely one of
hilarious.
those guys. He's like a Draymond, where not obviously skill set. So viewers, I'm not talking about that. But I'm saying like he's like a Dylan Brooks. He's one of those guys that if he's on your squad, you rocking with him. You rock. They talk. Campaign, their antics, you can't stand it when you're going against them. But if they're on your team, that's your guy. You're rocking with them. You know what I mean? So, but he's uber confident in himself where he needs to take it back. Um, let's get back to the Celtics series. You said Knicks in 6?
I got Knicks in 6 now. Yeah, Knicks in 6. I'm standing by that. If it's wrong, it's wrong. Knicks in
All right.
6.
My heart says Knicks in 7. My mind goes Boston in 6. But I'm going with my heart. And I just feel different. The narrative you notice that they didn't say about us beating good teams, right? They didn't bring that up. You mentioned that, brother, about how we were 3-1 against Detroit. There was no mention of that this whole entire postseason. That we were 3-1 in the season. There was none of that. Watch if we go down 2-0 or whatever to the Celtics. They're gonna bring that up. Because it fits their narrative. It fits the national media's narrative of the Knicks. But I just feel confident, man. Like I said, like you said, we both touched on this. Make it close enough. Give yourself a shot. And like I said, let's just play the Celtics the same way Detroit played us. And if we do that, we have the most clutch player in the league. We've set the stats. New York, we set the stats. We're not making this up. Jalen Brunson is about that action. Jalen Brunson is him. The Knicks get it to the point where we're a possession away. How can you not feel confident about Jalen Brunson?
I how do I say this? It's
Celtics
not
are ass.
if I really wish they were so we wouldn't have to be this concerned.
Yo, for real.
But it's not to say
Shout out
because
to
this is
Walter too. You know Walter got tickets to the game.
oh yeah?
Yeah, Walter got tickets to Game 3.
Shout
He's
out
a
to our
Celtics
boy
fan,
Walter.
but shout out to Walter.
Um you don't want to lose. You never want your team to lose. But if I'm more comfortable with my team losing because they made it competitive than looking like what they looked like all season when they played them. 3 out of the matchups were blowouts. I don't want to see that. That's all I'm asking for. If we lose, like I said, 2 to 3 points, and that's fine. I'll take that. I'll be more than comfortable knowing that, you know what, maybe there's one more piece that we need. We'll come back and visit this next year.
Right,
But
right,
I don't
right.
I don't want to see like, oh, we were so out of it that we didn't even belong And then
you know what's
you get the
funny?
narrative saying that the Pistons belong there instead.
I didn't put this on the script, and we're it's not rambling, but it's funny you mention that right now, right, bro? Because did you hear what Sham said about the Celtics? That after this season, there's going to be some like drastic changes to the roster because of the salary cap and the whole second apron thing. That this is probably gonna be the last dance for this sort of group because they may have to part ways with a Drew Holiday, with a Porzingis, because everybody's getting paid on that team, and they are over the luxury tax by a lot. So any player they almost bring in, and I don't know, like I'm not 100% knowledgeable of this, but more or less you're paying double their salary because they're so within the luxury tax, and hence why that owner sold the team. He knew what he was doing. Uh, but you're right. If you're close enough, because if you get smoked, like you said, then it's like, what do we do with the squad? Like, is the squad really built to beat the Celtics? But if we're close, then you go, maybe we are a Malik Beasley away. Maybe we are, because that's what I feel about this team, brother. I know a lot of people are so infatuated with last year's Knicks team, but this Knicks team is closer to a championship than last year's. This Knicks team is much more talented. This Knicks team just needs a couple quality guys. I remember they're in the Detroit Pistons, and somebody had tweeted, "Yo, this Knicks team is a Malik Beasley away." Like one of those kind of players. And I agree with that. I think we're one of those, like what makes the Celtics so good is not only their starting five, but the fact that they got Peyton Pritchard coming off the bench. They got Hauser coming off the bench. Guys that produce off the
You know who I would
bench.
want? You know who I would want if you're asking me right now? Give me Dennis Schroeder. Get me Dennis Schroeder right now to
A
come off
guy
the
like
bench.
that, yeah, yeah.
Get
A
me
guy
him
that
because
can that can give
he
Brunson a
outplayed our
couple
bench.
minutes on the bench, rest, and yeah. And
He
he's
outplayed our
one of those
bench.
guys that could be obtainable. He could be obtainable.
Yes.
Yeah,
So if you're asking me, that's who I would want. If
right.
instead
A
of
guy
Malik
like that,
Beasley,
yeah.
I'll take Schroeder.
I
Somebody
would
I can
prefer
trust with
maybe
the ball in
somebody
the
a little
hand.
bit more bigger. I would prefer, but I get what you're saying. I get exactly what you're saying. I would probably prefer maybe a guy with a little bit more size. But no, I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. But like I said, I just think the Celtics are really good. Really good. They're the defending champs, at the end of the day. But I don't know, man, the way Orlando played them, and I know the last game was a blowout, but the way Orlando played them should be the blueprint that I know Tibbs and the Knicks are looking at. Celtics are great, but they're still flawed. They can be beat, and we can do it. Meaning, I'm saying we about to play in the game, but you know what I mean.
I
We
mean,
could
you
do
got the
this. New
jersey.
York,
You ready?
New York. Oh, I'm ready. They don't even know I got the Knicks shorts under this. I'm dressed like Brunson today because I'm hyped for tonight. I think we're gonna steal tonight. We're gonna steal tonight. Let's go Knicks. Let's get into it. Let's do it. We can do it. We can do it, New York. We can do it. You want to talk baseball, bro?
Let's talk baseball.
Let's talk baseball. It's the Pinstripes Report.
The Pinstripe Report.
All right, y'all. It's the Pinstripe Reports. That's where we cover all things Yankees. The Yankees had not a great week, not a bad week, just a hand week. They lose 2 out of 3 uh, to the Orioles. I kind of wanted that series, even though the Orioles have been struggling, division team. Um, and then with the Rays, obviously, as this recording, we don't know. The Yankees have won the first game. They dropped the second game, and I said this before the show that something pissed me off with the Yankees and is Anthony Volpe. Anthony Volpe caught a break last week because he had a great performance as the time of our recording. So I wasn't going to get on Anthony Volpe. But Anthony Volpe already twice now this season has made some interesting errors that cost us the game. And he did that in Saturday's game. It was a 2-2 tie. Obviously, Mark Leiter didn't make it easy. He's walking guys in the eighth inning or so. But in a 2-2 tie, he boots which would have been a inning double play. Lets the lead run get in, and that ended up being a winning run as the Yankees dropped Saturday's game 3-2. Bro, you're barely hitting. You're a Gold Glove shortstop. If you're not gonna hit, defend. It's that simple. And when you're not doing both, we have a problem. I've lived with the fact that Anthony Volpe is not going to be a Bobby Witt. He's not going to be a Gunnar Henderson. Now, we all thought he could have been. We Reasons why we didn't get Corey Seager. It's a reason why, you know what I mean? Like, because we had this amazing shortstop in the system. And I'm gonna be honest, Anthony Volpe is a not even a average MLB hitter. So if you're not going to be an average MLB hitter, you need to be a Gold Glove shortstop, and you are a Gold Glove shortstop. So make the damn plays. The Yankees are lucky that the American League is straight ass. The American League is not good, bro. They're not. It's not good. It's obviously the Detroit Tigers are playing well. I believe they're 21-12, but and we've touched on this. The Yankees are more than likely going to make the American League Championship Series, get to probably even get to the World Series because the American League is not that great. But the Yankees will get smoked by any team in the National League. Right now, the Yankees did get some bad news. Jazz Chisholm, who's been on the IL, I believe with a quad. I have it here. I have to look for it, but basically he's in the IL. He might be sidelined 4 to 6 weeks. Giancarlo Stanton was then moved to the 60-day IL. They can survive those injuries, obviously. Stanton, we've touched on, as long as he's ready for the playoffs. That just seems, that. But Josh
Get it,
Chisholm,
get him in the summer. Like
yeah, the
I'm
Josh
okay with
Chisholm,
getting
I
him in the
think
summer.
Josh Chisholm thing kind of hurts. I just love the level of excitement that he brings to the game. I know he had a little rough patch. He was struggling, but he seemed like he was getting out of it, and then he gets hurt. So that sucks. Shout out to Paul Goldschmidt, man. I was not confident in Paul Goldschmidt. He's been balling. Ben Rice has been balling. Um, Trent Grissom, aka also known as Mr. Reggie Jackson, has been balling. Aaron Judge. Shout out to Aaron Judge, player of American League Player of the Month for April. And your
So
guy,
that's what
brother,
I actually
Max Fried.
that's what I
Your
that's what I
guy,
wanted to
your
touch. So
guy.
it's been a little
He's
bit doom and gloom
balling,
with the Yankees,
man.
right? It's been a little doom and gloom with the Yankees, but I do want to bring out some positives that came out of the month of April because we just wrapped up April. The Yankees finished 17-11. They're and Judge, our guy, finished as the AL Player of the Month. He posted a .427 batting average, 10 home runs, 32 RBIs in the month of April. And then
Right.
Max Fried, 5-0, 1.19 ERA, and leading the AL in ERA and innings pitched. He also earned the AL Pitcher of the Month award. So if there's anything to be excited about, is all right, those two top guys that you want to see for
Oblique
the
injury.
Yankees,
Sorry, guys. Oblique, Jazz Chisholm. Go ahead, brother. Sorry.
those two top guys that you want to see on the mound, on batting. Those are the things that you want to see. You want to see the positive outcomes. Like at the end of the day, these are the guys who are going to get the ball moving for us, or at least the game's winning. So there's a lot of things to be upset about with the Yankees at this moment because you think they could be playing better, but there are some positive notes to take of it. And while as bum as the
Yeah, and I
AL,
don't want to be too hard. If I sounded too
as
hard on the
bum as
Yankees,
yeah,
that wasn't my intent. But it's just Anthony Volpe, man, has been really pissing me off.
you just
Because there's
hope he
so
gets
many
it
plays
together.
we could have had because we thought this kid was gonna be the star. There's so many great shortstops we let just go. We didn't even try to pursue because he was supposed to be the guy. And he's not the guy. He's Ray Ordonez. Great defender, ass at the plate. But you hit it with Max Fried. Max Fried. When I watch Max Fried, I go, it just makes me even more upset that Garrett Cole's out. Because you go, man, you
Oof.
go and got Garrett Cole, Max Fried. Shout outs to Carlos Rodon. Carlos Rodon continues to pitch well for us. Carlos Carrasco is just there to be there. Um, Clark Schmidt was supposed to start on Saturday, but he got scratched. Nothing serious though, so I think he'll probably make his next start. The bullpen's amazing. Shout out to Devin Williams. Who would have thought that moving him out of the ninth inning would work? So Devin Williams has been pitching a little bit better. Um, I know, but Boone's been putting in seventh, eighth inning, so that's been working. Honestly, at this point, don't change it. Luke Weaver has proven that he can close games. He's looked great. The bullpens look great. So hopefully, the Yankees can continue it. Let's get to their schedule, brother. The Yankees have I wouldn't say a tough week, but they do got to play the Padres, and the Padres are a very good team. So the Yankees open up tonight with the Padres, 7:05. The Yankees are getting an iPad because the Knicks are getting a big screen TV tonight. But the Yankees have a 3 game set with the Padres in the Bronx, and then they get an off day Thursday, and then they start a 3 game set with the Oakland A's at. I don't even know if they're just the Athletics. I don't even think they call the Oakland A's. They're just the Athletics in Sacramento. Brother, how do you think the Yankees fare this week?
I think we split the series between San Diego, so 2-2. And then
No, it's a
I
three
think
game
we.
set. It's a 3 game set.
Why am I seeing? Oh, I'm sorry. The Tampa Bay logo looked just like San Diego for a sec. Looking at the time of this recording, I'm looking at Tampa
Mhm.
Bay's upcoming game. So I think we. Damn. I think we lose the San Diego series
Yeah, I
to,
got that too. I was thinking the same
and
thing.
then I think we sweep the Athletics.
Ooh, ooh, sweep. Okay, no, I don't think we sweep that. I don't think we sweep Oakland.
Okay.
Um, I got 2 out of 3 San Diego. I don't. San Diego, man, their offense is great. They're a really good team. They're a really good team. They don't get enough conversation when you think National League because the Dodgers and the Mets are so sexy as far as like their talent and they got the names. But San Diego's up there. NL West is one of the best divisions in baseball. So hold on. I have to turn off the Bluetooth on my because now it's connected to my iPad. Bro, this is technical difficulties. Can you hear me? You can
Yeah,
hear
I
me,
hear you.
brother? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just turn off the Bluetooth on my iPad because I just said that my AirPods connected to that. Um, yeah, so I got us losing 2 out of 3 uh to the Padres, and I got us winning 2 out of 3 to Oakland. To
Okay.
Oakland, and I'm just so like it's kind of like it took me a while. Saying Oakland is gonna be a struggle. It's kind of like when the Indians were the Guardians. It took me a while to say Guardians. But yeah, so go Yankees. Hopefully, we're wrong and they win 2 out of 3 against them. Hopefully they can sweep the entire week. Uh, but let's get into them boys in Queens because they had an interesting week as well. Let's get it. It's the Amazing Rundown.
The Amazin Rundown.
It's about the Mets, baby. Love the Mets. All right, baby. Let's go. Get a home run, baby. Love the Mets. Let's go, Mets.
All right, y'all. The Amazing Rundown is where we cover them boys from Queens. The Mets had an interesting week. They actually played a good team in the Diamondbacks, and they lost 2 out of 3. No, but they lost 2 out of 3 to the Diamondbacks. It was a tough, grueling series. It was a tough series. I wouldn't mind seeing that in October. Mets and Diamondbacks, and then the Mets go and the first game against the Cardinals, they cream them. As you expect, Cardinals are not a good baseball team. Obviously, guys, at this recording, we record on Sundays, as we touched on. Saturday's game was a rainout, so the Mets are going to be playing a doubleheader on Sunday. And I believe this was a 4 game set they had with the Cardinals, right? Or a 3 game set. I'm not. Um,
I just had it up. Give me one sec.
yeah.
Uh,
But the Mets,
yeah, 4 game.
but
4 game.
4 game
Well,
sets,
no,
and
no.
then they
Three,
have.
three, three, three. It's just a
Also,
postpone.
it's a 3 game set, so they'll finish out on Sunday. Shout out to Pete Alonso. Aaron Judge won American League Offensive Player of the Month, and Pete Alonso won it for the National League. Um, Luis Acuna, Ronald Acuna's younger brother, won NL Rookie of the Month. with a 288 batting average. He has 7 stolen bases, 21 hits, 13 runs. The Mets offense is starting to click. In that game that they did lose, was the last game that they lost to Arizona. Juan Soto had 2 home runs. I believe that was his first home run in Citi Field. Um, the Mets offense is starting to click. The Mets are a really good baseball team, and I prefaced that
They are.
last week. They're a really good baseball team. I know this narrative that they've been playing a lot of weaker teams, but at the end of the day, you play who you play what your schedule is. I'm not going to fault
Right.
you for how your schedule is set. Um, get fat when you can, and they have an interesting week. I like, man, their pitching's been good, man. Shout out to Clay Holmes. Clay Holmes has been good. Griffin Canning has been good. I know Kodai Senga had a little bump his last start, but for the most part, Kodai Senga's been good. Um, this is a really good Mets team. This is a really good Mets team. I'm going to be at the Met game next weekend for Mother's Day, so I will be at Citi Field. I'll try to get some interviews with some Met fans, like I did when I was in Port St. Lucie. So I will be at the Mets game on when they play the Cubs. Do you want to get into their schedule next week, brother?
Yeah, let's do it.
Or you got
I
something to
also
say
have
about
one
the
thing to
Mets that
note.
what you've seen this past week?
Well, I got actually another month review. So the Mets finished 22-11, leading the National League East for the month of April, and their pitching is exactly what we wanted them to have. We felt like the hitting was, we if correct me if I'm wrong, I felt like pitching was their strong suit coming into the
Pitching with
season.
wait. Say that again. You felt like
Their
pitching was
sorry,
what?
their bullpen was their strong suit coming into
Their
the season as
their
far as
strength, right? The rotation
yeah,
wasn't questioned. The
yeah, it
rotation
wasn't
was
questioned,
yeah. But
but their pitching is exactly what we wanted them to be, and they're doing exactly what we want to see from the Mets. So, and we said it, and we've been preaching it. As much as I sound like a hater to some of you, and I have been in the past a Mets hater, I have said Juan Soto will get better, and guess what? It's starting to click little by little, the little engine that could, and you're gonna see a different beast of Juan Soto this May.
yeah, the weather's gonna get warmer. And I know they asked him about like, oh, did it feel good to hit those home runs with the pressure? And he's like, what pressure? You know what I mean? So obviously, Juan Soto's gonna be there, man. And Pete Alonso so far is a early leading candidate for NL MVP. Let's get into the schedule because the Mets got a tough schedule this week as they start tonight. West Coast game, so there's going to be some later starts for us East Coast guys. They got a 3-game set with the Diamondbacks, as we touched on. They just lost 2 out of 3 to the Diamondbacks at Citi Field, so the Mets get an opportunity to get their get back. Um, this is going to be tough. This is a tough week because they get the 3-game set with the Diamondbacks at Arizona, followed by a 3-game set with the Cubs, who the Cubs have been surprisingly good this year. And they have hopefully future Yankee Kyle Tucker. This Cubs, so I'm excited. I'm actually going to the Sunday game. So this is a tough week. So this whole narrative that the Mets don't play good teams, they're playing good teams this week, and I'm confident that the Mets are going to get their get back against Arizona. I got them winning 2 out of 3 in both series, brother. I got them win 2 out of 3 in Arizona. I got them winning 2 out of 3 at home against the Cubs. The Mets have been the Cubs are good, but the Mets have been great at home.
Same here with the Mets record. Something to note I see here is that game on the 11th, Mother's Day, it's gonna be streamed on Roku. Just
Yeah,
something to note.
because so funny enough, I had bought the tickets very early. So um it was a 1 o'clock game. And then maybe like a month like after I bought the tickets, I got the notification that the game was starting early. So Roku, I believe they got into a partnership with MLB last year, and their games are extremely early. All the Roku games, the Roku exclusive games are early. I remember at some point them games were starting like at 10 a.m., 11 a.m. So this is a much earlier start. So yes, Met fans, I don't even know if there's gonna be an alternative broadcast outside of Roku. So that's gonna kind of suck. So
But
but I think Roku's
Roku
free.
was
Is
pretty
Roku
good.
free?
I think it is free, and if I'm not mistaken, then the
Okay.
Super Bowl was also streamed on Roku, and it did pretty
No, that
good.
was
So
Tubi. That was Tubi, the Super Bowl.
Tu Tubi. There we go.
Yeah.
My bad. Sorry. Whatever.
Yeah, no, but I think hopefully Roku is free, and it's not like how the Yankees when they play on Amazon. If you don't have, I mean, on Apple TV, like if you don't have Apple TV, you can't see the game. So hopefully, I'm not sure, guys, but if you want to see the Mets, either go in person, go to the game, show some love to your boy, or get Roku. Is that an app, or I know it's a TV, but is it an app?
Roku is an app, and then I think they also have
So it's kind of like
Fire
Tubi
Sticks.
and Pluto and all that.
I think so,
Okay.
and then they also have like Fire Stick kind of thing too. I
Okay,
never got into Roku, so
so Met fans, that's how you can see your boys. So Dave and I both got us 2 out of 3. So that's the Mets, guys. We apologize. I always like to say that. Like baseball season is when we get to the swing of things, we will get fully in depth with baseball. We will. I promise you, because I know we have a lot of baseball fans that support us, and if we're not putting, I guess, the time into the Yankees and the Mets, it's because right now it's the regular season. But once things start really cooking in baseball, we will get more in depth. All right. So guys, it's the next playoffs right now, and it's May. It's May in baseball. Come on, let's not overreact. Guys, but what we will overreact on is in our favorite segment. That's quick hits. So let's get into it. All right, y'all. Quick hits. Is where we cover everything around the globe. The hits are so quick, you don't see it coming. Brother, the second round matchups are set. The NBA playoffs is picking up steam. We got the Pacers and the Cavaliers. We got the Thunder taking on Denver. As of this recording, we don't know if the Wolves are going to take on either Golden State or Houston. Brother, which series is the most exciting? This is a two-part question. Which series is more exciting? Will be the most exciting? And which series can we see an upset taking place?
the series that I'm most excited for is the same answer as the one that I can see the upset taking place.
Okay. Now I'm interested. Which series is this?
Thunder versus the Nuggets, and I think the
Yes.
Thunder dropped the ball. I think the Thunder's dropped the ball.
Wow.
And if they do, I don't want to hear nothing about SGA in the MVP talk.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't.
Yep.
I don't.
Yep.
SGA, amazing player. I'll take him right now in the Knicks if I could. But
yeah, of course.
it was so blown out of the water of how much he's the clear front MVP this year that if he drops the ball and they lose to the Denver Nuggets, who just lost their coach, who just fired their coach a few days before the playoffs, y'all drop the ball, that's an upset right there. I don't care what happened. I don't care what you could tell me. The Thunder are posed like they're primed to be in the playoffs and just go to the championship game. You drop the ball here. I'm sorry, you're the biggest upset right now.
If they get Murray playing the way he's playing, Watson, Braun coming off the bench, Russell Westbrook, they have an opportunity. The series I'm more excited for is definitely going to be the Wolves series. No matter who they play, whether it's Golden State or Houston, I'm hoping it's Houston. Anthony Edwards, man, watching what he's done in the first round against the Lakers, and I was gonna say this. LeBron James ended up suffering a grade 2 MCL sprain in Game 5, so he would have probably been out the remaining series anyway. So who cares about LA? Let me get sidetracked a little bit, brother. I'm gonna be honest. Joey, you're my boy, and I don't take this personal. I was happy the Lakers got eliminated. I'm gonna be honest. I no longer like LA teams after the World Series because I got a hands-on experience of just how nasty LA fans could be. You know what I'm saying? Like none of our teams have actually played an LA team in something meaningful. You know what I mean? So I've never Met fans could probably be like, "Hey, we know that because obviously Mets and the Dodgers have had some meaningful series in recent years." But this is the first time I've experienced that, and I'm like, you know what, bro? I don't like LA fans that much. I really don't. So I got joy of Minnesota kicking their ass, and especially how they did it at the crib. And I'm a big JJ Redick guy, but JJ Redick, you got out coached, and you want to get tight at reporters because they're asking you a lot. And JJ Redick is so funny now that it's so
Now
easily to
he's
talk. It's so easy to talk crap behind the desk like what we're doing because you would give Tibbs a lot of crap about playing your players all these minutes, But then you go and play a 40-year-old LeBron James the entire second half. The entire second half, along with your out-of-shape superstar, Luka Doncic. And my man ends up getting hurt. And it's funny, bro, I heard a perfect thing about the Luka thing, about Nico Harrison, and is going to give a little bit of credit to Nico. His assessment was correct. He just made a bad trade. And when I heard that, JD Sports Talk, give him credit, he said that on KFTV, Knicks Fan TV. And I said, I think that's the best way to summarize the Luka trade. Obviously, we're not making that trade. He just made the wrong trade, Nico Harrison, but the assessment of Luka was spot on because Luka was a cone. He was a defensive liability that entire series. That you got guys like a McDaniels, Jalen McDaniels, who's not a guy that play makes for himself or whatever. He's the guy that he has to be set up by the stars. He's blowing by Luca. You know what I mean? And you're like, bro. So I just wanted to touch on that. But I do think the most exciting series, to me, is going to be the Wolves Golden State. The upset series I got, and you touched on it earlier, I think is the Indiana Pacers Cleveland Cavaliers. Only because the Pacers are the luckiest franchise in the NBA. Last year, they played the Bucks, where Damian Lillard and Giannis were damn near out that entire series. They played us. No Mitchell Robinson. OG Anunoby goes down in the third quarter. Jalen Brunson hurts his hand in Game 7. This year, they get the Bucks. Dame Lillard misses Game 1. Dame Lillard tears his Achilles. You know what I mean? And it's just like they get a lot of luck. And although I think Cleveland will beat them, but the way that this team is so lucky, I won't be surprised Donovan Mitchell get hurt. Somebody gets hurt on that team. Garland's already missed a few games. I wouldn't be surprised somebody get hurt. And then they end up winning the series because of injuries. So that's the series that I'm looking at where it might be an upset. And that's only because Indiana gets so lucky with teams getting hurt when they play them. And Tyrese Halliburton's daddy, you lucky Giannis didn't smack the crap out of him. You got no business doing what you're doing, running on the court like that. And then you go, and out of all players, Giannis, this guy got like no percent body fat. This guy would have killed that old man. You got no business doing that, and I'm happy that the Indiana Pacers, and shout out to Tyrese Halliburton, he did put that on check and kind of like, hey, he shouldn't have done that. So I'll give him respect to that. But shout outs to the Pacers, and he's no longer allowed in games going forward. So that's cool.
All right, brother. Let's keep it in baseball. So ESPN Shams reported this week that Greg
Bro,
Popovich
let's
will
keep
no
it in
longer
NBA.
be.
What you talking about, Sham? You talking about baseball, bro?
I'm gonna edit that out. So
No, you're not. You're gonna keep it.
all right. So keeping it in
He leaves
basketball.
my floors. No, you leave my floors, but you want to edit yours? Nah, we ain't doing that. This guy, I'm gonna edit that out. No, you're not. You're gonna leave it.
We'll see about that.
I
Keeping
know.
it in basketball.
He has the final say in the editing anyway. Whatever, man. Whatever.
Keeping it in basketball, ESPN Shams reported this week that Greg Popovich will no longer be the head coach of the San Antonio Spurs and is transitioning to full-time team president. Is Pop the best NBA coach ever?
I think so. I know Phil has the rings. You can talk Pat Riley, and now like even some of the current coaches such as Steve Kerr will be in that conversation, Eric Spoelstra. But I think what Pop has been able to do where, you know, I know and Pop has had great players, but Phil had Jordan, arguably the greatest basketball player of all time, Kobe, Shaq. But what Pop has been able to do, this is just a long run of winning. You know what I mean? Um, and he's done it with David Robinson, and then transition to Tim Duncan's, then transition to to Kawhi and those guys and Tony Parker. And I think his ability to know talent You know what I mean? Like to go find a Manu Ginobili, to go find a Tony Parker, and you know train those guys. That those guys were eventually Hall of Famers. I think he is the best coach, the best NBA coach of all time. I truly think that.
No argument here.
Okay, all right. Well, keeping it in baseball, the Spurs. Keeping it with the Spurs, guys. The San Antonio Spurs decided that they're going to be hiring an assistant and interim coach, Mitch Johnson. He was an interim coach while Pop was out as a franchise next head coach. The Memphis Grizzlies are hiring interim coach Tomas Lasola as the franchise next head coach, who he replaced Taylor Jenkins, who was fired in late March and is now the first Finland-born head coach in NBA history. Brother, how are we feeling about these hirings?
I feel like these teams chose their guy because
Yeah,
usually most teams will wait till the playoffs are done or they start interviewing people in the process. If it moved this
yeah,
quick, I feel like they went with the person that they wanted to and they moved this. This has already been in the makings as it was going.
yeah.
The only thing for the Spurs is I understand she's the head coach for the Aces, but I would have loved to see Becky Hammond.
So I did hear that. I did hear that
Yeah,
some people felt Becky. I thought they were gonna go Mike Malone. I
yeah.
truly thought they were gonna go Mike Malone, former head coach of the Denver Nuggets. But San Antonio, they're very in-house organization. So uh, I didn't think Mitch Johnson did a horrible job. I thought he had them playing hard. I think everything just went downhill once Wemby went out, and you know what I mean. But I think I thought he did a pretty decent job with them. And then when it comes to the Grizzlies, I agree with you. I think those were guys that they already had their mindset that they were going to hire them. It was more like it was their job to lose while they were the intern coach, as opposed to like, you know what I mean? Like so. Um, but yeah, it's whatever. I'm gonna be honest, it's whatever. I think Miss Johnson's in a better situation because I think the Memphis situation is more of a mess, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. We had a weekend of big time fights as Friday night we saw unanimous decision victories for Teofimo Lopez over Arnold Barboza, Devin Haney over Joe Ramirez, and the big upset night as Rolly Romero defeats Ryan Garcia with a unanimous decision victory. And closing out the weekend Saturday, the future Hall of Famer Canelo Alvarez earned a unanimous decision victory over William Skull. How are we feeling about these fights and the overall take on the current landscape of boxing?
Them fights are boring, all of them. Um, I know like Friday night's fights, the Haney, Teofimo, Ryan Garcia. It was dope. I liked the concept that was in Times Square and that sort of stuff. And it was just more of a showcase of those guys because they all, obviously Rolly Romero. That was probably maybe the exciting part of the weekend. Rolly Romero, I think he's overrated. But he gets the upset. He upset Ryan Garcia, who I also think is overrated. Um, at least they're fighting each other. At least I know Haney. I know that Haney and Ryan Garcia might get their rematch. So I guess they're fighting each other. When it comes to the Canelo fight, brother, I was at a friend's house. They was having a party and stuff like that, and they had the Canelo fight on, bro. And I did not watch one single round. It was just not exciting. And he kind of said it. Canelo kind of said it, like, "Oh, this was a boring fight." Um, I think the most exciting thing about it is that they brought Terrence Crawford at the end, and they basically confirmed that they're gonna have their fight in September. So I think that's the one I'm more looking forward to. But yeah, we had big fights, but they just weren't exciting.
Yeah.
So, what's your thoughts, real fast, on it, if you have any?
I think the state of boxing right now is just so boring. And it
Yeah,
has been for several years. UFC
yeah,
has taken that spot from like as far like growing up, you watch boxing as a kid, and you know you start to love it as you start to grow into an adult. But then you just start seeing the fights that it's boring. The matchups you're getting, and you're not seeing the top guys in the fight. Like either one is out of his prime or one is too young, and it's not the matchups you want to see. And boxing's just not in a good place at this moment. I feel like UFC has taken that spot and just ran with it. So
yeah, yeah. I agree.
That's how I feel.
Let's stay on boxing, guys, as I don't know how this makes boxing more exciting, but the WBC president announced that Mario Barrios, he will be defending his welterweight title against the returning 46, 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao in July. Brother, how are we feeling about the return of Pac-Man? And what's his chances of him getting that win?
What does this do for boxing?
Yeah, it does
What
nothing.
what does this
Does
do for
nothing.
boxing? This is just as much. This
Does
brings as
nothing.
much relevancy to boxing as the Paul brothers.
Yeah.
I'm because it's all looking to a joke to me. 46-year-old
Yeah.
Pacquiao, what's he gonna do?
Yeah. The big joke. Yeah.
I don't know,
Honestly, I don't know.
brother. Any
I like
thoughts?
um I was talking to my mom about this, and my mom is like, it's unfortunate that this is why you see these boxers when they finish fighting, they have these brain injuries. Because it's like, bro, you're 46, dog. What are you doing? I can't be the money. It can't be the money, right? What are we doing?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe he owns some Philippine
I don't
Philippine
know, man.
cartels money. I don't know.
I don't know.
Brother, let's just move it on because this is depressing. But we got some good news. Lastly, over the weekend, it was officially announced that the Knicks great Carmelo Anthony will serve as a studio analyst for NBC Sports when the NBA returns to NBC next season. How hype are we for that?
Oh man, I'm yo. Somebody did the edit of Jalen Brunson's game-winning shot with the round ball rock song, and I'm like, bro, I cannot wait till the NBA gets on NBC. I like it. Carmelo Anthony's a fresh face, a fresh new voice that we're gonna have. But I can't front. Amazon, NBC are getting the NBA next year. And I think both of them, both networks, their hirings have done really well. I think Amazon's gonna have Dirk, uh Blake Griffin. I think NBC's also adding, I think, is Jamal Crawford. I just love that we're getting guys that have played with this era of players or that are more tapped in. And as much as everybody loves the inside crew with Kenny, Charles, I think now they're getting a little. There are too many generations now. They're too far. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're the way they analyze the game is more get off my yard. Like, get, you know what I mean? Kind of like, and I'm tired of that. I'm tired of that. You see it in them. Them older guys are much bitter because the money's different and all this. You hear it in Shaq's commentary. You hear it with Charles and those guys. So let's get guys that played in the last 10 years. And
Plus,
Melo is gonna be perfect for that.
plus, I mean, come on. Finally, a Nick in media that we can actually like
Yeah,
validate his thing
yeah,
because
yeah, yeah, exactly. He's not going to just say an absurd, horrible take just to get some recognition.
help against that Nick hate. That's what I'm
Yeah,
happy
for
for. Help against that
sure.
Nick hate. Brother,
For
we're about to
sure.
wrap up this quick hits, which wasn't so quick, but
No, it wasn't.
I got a curve you. I got a curve.
You got a curveball?
I got a curveball.
Okay. Are we editing
Thunderbolts.
that out too?
Yeah, Thunderbolts came out this week, bro.
Oh, oh man, it's downstairs. Damn, I got the
With
bucket. Let's show it.
spoiler free. Tell me
Spoiler
about
free.
how. Yeah.
It was amazing. It was amazing. Um, it was the opposite of Captain America: Brave New World, where all the reviews were crapping on the movie, and then you go out and you see it, and you go, "What movie did you see?" Because I enjoyed it, I loved it. I was a little bit afraid because there were some really credible people that I follow, that you and I follow on Twitter, YouTube, that break down these movies, and they all raved about Thunderbolts. They all raved about it. And I'm like, man, I hope it's not the opposite, where it's like everybody's raving about it, and then you go see it, and it's not that good. This movie was amazing. Amazing, amazing. I loved it. I'm going to see it again. Um, I just enjoyed it. It was a 2 hour plus movie, but didn't feel that way. Didn't feel like the movie was going too long. The comedy had its perfect moments, but I just love the depth of the characters in this movie. They made characters that I was personally speak didn't care too much about. You know what I mean? And it made you like them. It made you sympathize with them. You know what I mean? And then obviously the post credit scenes, like you said, this is spoiler free. It was pivotal too because it moves the story. It moves it. You know what I mean? Like it was a great movie. Great movie. What's
It
your thoughts,
it
brother? You've seen it. What's your thoughts?
So this movie, the best way I could compare it for people who haven't seen it or maybe didn't watch anything that led up to it, because there's a lot of characters that are from the shows,
From the Disney
um,
Plus show, yeah.
from the Disney Plus shows, or they were just side characters that you didn't pay too much attention to, like
Right.
in
They
Black
weren't big.
Widow.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So this movie I can compare in a sense to Guardians and Suicide Squad, in a sense that this is a team that wasn't supposed to be put together, but they just work and they find a way to do it together. It's hilarious. If you did watch everything leading up to it, then you may already love Yelena's character. Um, and you're happy to see more of her. I think Florence Pugh is getting her flowers finally because she's been acting since the Black Widow movie. She's been doing an amazing job in her role. David Harbour as Red Guardian has been great, even in the little what If series, as you've seen a little bit more of him there as well. Um, Ghost, great. I'm a fan of her from other stuff as well. This was a great put together movie, and I wouldn't be surprised if this movie helps bring like this director to do more stuff going forward with Marvel, because
Yeah.
he hit the nail on the head on
Yeah.
a movie that wasn't supposed to succeed. If anybody
Had
told you
no hype, right?
this should have been a Disney
Yeah,
Plus movie, a
yeah,
Disney Plus movie. So
yeah. And
I
if you
will say
guys
that.
watch it, you'll see why it has a little asterisk on the Thunderbolts. So go see the movie. It was a great movie. I
Definitely.
think what I loved about it the most, though, bro, is like you said, it was Guardians of the Galaxy, but not trying to be Guardians of the Galaxy.
That too, because
You know what I
you
mean?
yeah.
Like where you saw where with Taika when he did Thor: Love and Thunder, he tried to make it too much like Ragnarok, and that's where I failed. So it's like this director, it's it's very much like Guardians of the Galaxy, but not trying to be like Guardians of the Galaxy at all. And I loved
And
it.
then we one day will cover Love and Thunder because that movie was a train wreck in
That movie was
itself.
a
But
train wreck, bro.
that'll be for
Train.
another episode, not
Yeah,
sports
yeah,
related.
yeah,
We'll
yeah,
one day we'll
yeah,
dissect that. But
yeah.
brother, I think we got to keep the ball
Come on,
moving.
bro. You want to roll? Go ahead. Get us into the next segment. You want to roll?
All right, brother. I think it's time to go over the highlight of the week, because me and you were talking about this as the game was going, and man, I thought I'm wrong. I called what was going to be the third. You know what? Let's do it, brother. Lead us in.
Let's get into it, y'all. It's the highlight of the week.
He's on fire!
All right, guys. So this is the highlight of the week, brother. So it's the third quarter, and it's a close game, and Mikal Bridges just dunks on Kane Cunningham head, and I hit
But
you
you
up,
know
and I
what's the
send you a
funny part
text.
that I like though, bro? Is I love when defense creates offense. OG Anunoby blocks. Tobias Harris leads into the fast break. Slam! Throw it up. Throw it up. Let the boys be boys. Mikael Bridges. Arcade. Hey. Hey, you know what's the funny part, bro? You saw when he looked at him, and you could tell Mikael wanted to taunt him more, but he didn't want to get the tech. And shout out to the refs. I can't front. The refs have been letting them, because usually that's a taunting tech. And Cat did it a couple games ago with Harris, and Detroit did it with us. Let them guys play, because it's so in the moment, man, and especially with something like that. You go and dunk on somebody, bro. Like, let them little taunt a little bit, man. That's part of the game. That's excitement. But man, and I'm gonna be, oh man, brother, that. It's funny because guys, Dave and I, when we, especially with something like the Knicks, where we know we're both watching it at the same time, we instantly text each other at the same time, like, bro, that's highlight of the week. That's highlight of the
So
week.
that's what
Uh,
happened. I
yeah.
texted you literally after that dunk. I'm like, bro, I found our highlight of the week, and our captain, he found a way to outshine everything
Yes.
that led up to that, because with the game on the line, the Martians got the death beams on us. Who do you want?
Yup. Andre
Jalen Brunson.
Iguodala.
Give me Jalen Brunson. He hits the three, has a Sword Thompson touching floor, and brother,
You know what? Then this might be the first, brother. That's how good. They're both in the highlight of the week. We're making history. Two. We got two. So. I was trying to think of so nice we had to do it twice or whatever. We got two of them. Highlight of the week, two of them.
There
Highlights
you go. You guys
of
been
the week.
watching, so you've already seen both clips by now. So there we go.
Both of them made it.
Two clips
Highlights
this
of the
week.
week. Highlights of the week. Let's go, Knicks. Guys, we thank you so much. We thank you so much for your continuous support. And we just hope that you continue to do that. And by doing that, is making sure you give us a thumbs up. Make sure, give us a like, comment, you know what I mean, subscribe, do all that stuff. Dave and I, we made a video that has been very viral on TikTok. Over 20,000 views, 100 plus comments. I think we're over 1,000 likes. Tommy Beer reposted our video. A few Nick pages on Instagram. Davis has the video playing right now as we're talking. A lot of Nick pages have been posting our video. So, guys, we just thank you for the support. It means a lot to Dave and I. At the end of the day, we put a lot of love and focus on this show to make it what it is. And we can't do that without your continuous support. So be sure to follow us on all platforms. We are available on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and Twitter, X. Yeah, and X, guys. That's how you're gonna get our daily content. This is how we notify you guys about anything when it comes to Knicks, Mets, Yankees, or New York. You'll be fully tapped in. If you're fully tapped in with us on all our platforms, you will know everything. All right, guys. So Dave and I are gonna be bringing the fire next week. Next week is Mother's Day weekend. So if your mamas are around, give them a call, tell them you love them. Or if you have a mother figure in your life, give them a call, tell them you love them. Brother, I'm going to be live in New York City next episode. I'm going to be filming where I grew up at. I wish I could be outside.
Tell your mothers we love them too. Because we have you because of them. So tell your mothers we love them as well.
Yeah, shout outs to the moms. So, guys, it's been a great episode. Let's go Knicks. We're going to end it like that. We see y'all next week, y'all. Peace.
More than a podcast, it's a sports throne. Let's kick it off right. Welcome to the Ozone.
I want Iguodala. That's right.